trust me, people had a party here last night, and like, you don't want to work here unless I clean it. And there's like that kind of environment that I think carried him through even after his company, and you can see that in some of his adventures. That I don't know if that kind of mentality would have gotten it to the global success that McAfee ended up becoming. Because it definitely grew after he exited.
His like notoriety.
The company grew to,
I think it was like 14 billion at the time of the
multi-billionaire status after his
at Intel, and then they ended up like breaking off again afterwards.
But I just
retaining his name.
I just don't know if that's really and that's something else he regrets, is using his name to but yeah, I feel like he has opportunity. He made a lot of money doing that part of his his thing, which was solving that one problem, getting really deep into the technical parts, pushing out a fix, and then marketing it in a way that was successful. And he had enough money where like it didn't really matter, right? There's like levels of success that people look at. For most people, the difference between $100 million and $1 billion probably isn't that much different. A number on paper, yes, absolutely. And maybe if you're living
you don't think that he possesses the skill set to go and replicate it, or do you think that he doesn't possess or do you think that he lacks the focus?
I think it's the focus. I don't think he's necessarily interested in doing that. Okay. He had other success stories in mind. Yeah. And at least that was the way that I read it.
That's interesting. I think that he has a really unique skill set, and I think especially even going back and seeing the way that he won what he knew, and again, we've already established him as an unreliable narrator, but
you should explain that.
Well,
because I think when you say that, I understand what you're saying, but I think you're implying a little bit more too.
I believe that he's an unreliable narrator, mostly because of the extreme nature of everything that's been going on around him. And maybe unreliable is a little bit too strong, because there's been so much truth in what we've seen, and he's also peeked behind the veil. But there's this feeling that I get when watching him, that it almost feels like the craziness of his life is a construction of his own doing.
I get the feeling that he's very aware of the camera. He's very aware of the narrative. And where most people are in the narrative, it's kind of hard to separate yourself.
Yeah.
I feel like he's very aware of what he's crafting.
That's what we were going back with kayfabe.
Yeah.
Going back with WWE and Vince McMahon and
story,
wrestling and the archetype of a story, and then being able to live in that story and act it out. There was times in the past where they really wanted you to believe that everything that you were seeing in a wrestling environment was real.
Even today, that's the through line.
It's been one of those things where people know it and they suspend the disbelief because it's that strong.
Oh, sure.
The narratives are that strong. But back in the day, the blend was way more real. And I see this with Donald Trump blending the story and making it feel like reality TV. I see this we saw that with Vince McMahon, and we see that with wrestling. But I think that John McAfee is also in that lane of he's living this story, and we are all living a story to an extent, but it seems like he's living this story and trying to take it to the extreme every time. Like, it's so interesting to me that he was always on the run, but he would always introduce himself as John McAfee to everybody. Hey, I'm John McAfee. You pick up the phone and, yep, this is John McAfee. Yeah, I'm looking to rent a limousine. Yep, to this address. Okay, right. We got to go on the run. They're going to find us.
Right.
It just seemed so...
What I'm curious about is, how would you compare that to like a Steve Jobs reality distortion field?
I think it's coming from the same place.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's coming from the same place. I think it's coming from the same understanding of the way the mind works, and then using that understanding as a tool
to manipulate.
And to advance your
causes. I think what's also interesting, is he was paranoid about things that ended up becoming true.
Yeah.
Like people trying to kill him.
Yeah.
People burning down his house.
Mm-hmm.
Like, these are the kind, and there are women who have openly said in interviews, yeah, I tried to kill him.
Yeah.
I tried to shoot him. It's like the kind of life you have to live where it feels like some of the paranoia is valid. You know, it's not all a reality distortion. There is some of it where it's like,
well, I think,
you know,
I believe in speaking yourself into, I think you can speak situations into existence. And what I mean by that is when you speak things enough, when you say things enough, you program your own mind and you put yourself in positions where things are more likely to happen.
So if you're, like if you said they're after me,
you're going to put yourself in a position where people are after you.
Or someone's after you?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah. I believe that I don't believe like things just magically appear, but I think you steer your body through your language. And so, like, just like you turn that wheel, if you turn it left, you're going to keep going left more, right?
Hopefully it catches on camera.
If you turn it right, you're going to, swerve to the right a little bit.
Yeah.
And I believe that with our words, we program and we steer our, our attention.
That's interesting.
And that our attention drives our actions and our behavior. So I think another example is somebody like Tupac, who grew up as an art student, an actor, and then started acting out more like like hood-centered, gangster roles.
Yeah.
And his world became that.
Yeah.
And it's like one of those things. Like, all right, if I say this, and here's like more of like, I guess like if we want to put a little bit more like parameters around this woo woo, you know what I'm saying? Parameters around this woo woo. But one reason is, I think when we say things, if we act in a different way, we get a level of cognitive dissonance. So if I say like, people are after me, and this is how extreme I think it is. If I say people are after me, and then if I'm in a situation where people aren't after me, I'm gonna feel a level of mental discomfort because I'm not congruent with what I'm saying. And so I believe that the body naturally will be like, okay, well, I need to be in that situation since that's
what I'm programmed to do. Yeah.
So
that's interesting.
Steer you in weird situations, and you're like, oh, I think, So I think like it's a little woo-woo, but I also think that when you think hard enough about it, it's like it makes a little bit more sense.
Yeah. And so some might say that like his lifestyle was the product of his own narrative.
Yeah.
His own storytelling.
Yeah. His own